EastEnders teases an intense week ahead with Keanu Taylor's body discovery, Sharon's return, and Stacy helping Denise. Meanwhile, drama unfolds as Linda faces the murder weapon, Jack confronts Stacy and Denise, and Yolanda sees Pastor Clayton's true colors. Plus, Dean targets Harvey, and Sonia faces IVF setbacks. In Baltimore, a cargo ship collision with the Francis Scott Key Bridge leads to a state of emergency as cars plunge into the river, sparking a rescue operation amid fears of missing persons. Next week's 7 EastEnders spoilers include the final discovery of Keanu Taylor's body. In addition, Yolanda discovers Pastor Clayton's true nature, Stacy vows to assist Denise, Sharon returns to Walford, and Sonia and Rice struggle with IVF. In EastEnders, there will be one unforgettable April. After spending months abroad in Australia following the death of her beloved Keanu Taylor, who attempted to kill her on Christmas Day 2023, Sharon Watts returns to Walford at last. Bernadette Taylor is about to receive a horrifying shock regarding her brother Keanu, all the while Stacy Slater vows to support Denise Fox, the friend she betrayed. This time, Dean Wicks targets gentle Harvey Monroe with his evil behavior in another place. Continue reading because there will be plenty of drama in the episodes that air from April 1st to April 4th, 2024. 7 EastEnders teases for the next week 1. As calamity befalls Walford, Sharon Watts returns. Murderer Linda Carter, still suffering from alcoholism, awakens to an unexpected guest, Sharon Watts. The best friends' relationship is still chilly as they converse upstairs in the Queen Vic, and Linda worries that Sharon is still upset with her. Then, to Sharon's horror, she learns that Linda's son Johnny Carter has discovered what happened at Christmas and that the meat thermometer that was used to murder Keanu is missing. The other women are not too happy with Sharon for running away from Walford for months, so she organizes a meeting of all the women to the Queen Vic barrel store. Later, when Linda is unintentionally handed the murder weapon, she is stunned, and this causes mayhem in the Queen Vic. The 6 are relieved to have the murder weapon back, regardless of what happens, and Sharon determines she will be the one to dispose of it. But earlier in the day, Vinny Panesar noticed a fissure in the cafe floor and was startled to see it. He tries to get a construction worker in quickly, but the floor gives way. As the 6 women face tragedy, Sharon's intentions are thwarted by her ex-husband Phil Mitchell, who demands to know why she left for Australia and wants to see their son, Albie. After returning home, Sharon becomes preoccupied with the events at the cafe and orders Phil to leave, which prompts him to threaten to sue her. But as things for the 6 go south, Sharon eventually gives Phil access to Albie and demands that he commit to support their kid no matter what. 2. Jack Branning exposes Stacy Slater and Denise Fox. Denise's happy mood abruptly collapses once she receives the news of the cafe floor fall from Linda and Suki Panesar. Suki is compelled to remain silent in order to prevent raising suspicions even as she tries to get involved in Vinny's preparations to fix the cafe floor. Knowing that her trademark Udia necklace is at the site of the murder and that if it is discovered, Denise would go to prison, she decides she had to pack her bags and leave Walford. Stacy, Denise's ex-love rival, quickly foils her escape plot, though, and persuades her to stay by promising to return to the crime scene and reclaim the necklace. The 2 go to the cafe to do their nefarious deed after robbing Bernie of his keys from Chelsea's home, but Jack Branning, the man who stood in their way, stops them. Is Jack going to find out the whole truth about what really happened during Christmas, as he demands answers? 3. Keanu at last, Taylor's body is found this week. Bernie spends a fun evening drinking with Felix Bach, his step-cousin, but soon finds himself in the care of Alfie Moon, who has just returned from vacation. But by the next day, Keanu's body has been found, and rumors about what really transpired have ignited Walford. Soon after, Bernie is left looking completely sad to find she has lost her older brother with Felix by her side as the police storm Albert Square and start asking inquiries. In the meantime, Sharon receives word from the police regarding Keanu's passing and is questioned once more about the events of the night of Christmas Day 2023. Is Sharon going to break under the strain? While the 6 are still afraid for their freedom, Suki finds Kathy Cotton and suggests a fresh strategy to safeguard their rights. Dean Wicks becomes antagonistic towards Harvey Monroe. As the week gets underway, Eve Onwin is informed by the endearing Harvey Monroe that he is worried about his girlfriend Jean Slater and that he has organized an Easter activity for all the youngsters. Harvey then offers Lily Slater, Jean's granddaughter, a bribe to get Jade Massoud to come over so he can keep an eye on her. When Jade shows there, Harvey is relieved that she is getting better. However, when Dean shows up, enraged at Jade's presence, Harvey begins to have doubts about her evil father. Harvey, however, is already taking a hard stance from Dean when he makes rude and defamatory remarks about the taxi driver on an internet community page. This causes Harvey to be protected by people like Billy and Honey Mitchell. Harvey seems unfazed by Dean's actions, and the taxi driver promises to investigate Dean's activities in detail. Meanwhile, over at Peggy's, Dean deletes his hurtful posts about Harvey after receiving some hard facts from his ex-stepsister Chelsea Fox. Following this, Dean visits Ian and Cindy Beale, his business partners, at their residence and makes an offer to sell his interests in Beale's Eels. Is he going to accept his offer? At the end of the week, Dean finds a new way for his daughter Jade to raise money for her organization, which supports people with cystic fibrosis. He then tells Jade that he has planned a trip for the two of them to New York. Is Dean going to take off from Walford with a gullible Jade after him? 5. Yolanda Truman recognizes the actual nature of Pastor Clayton this week. Yolanda Truman is still having difficulties because of her domestic conflicts with Denzel Danes and her adversary Agatha's influence on the community center politics. Yolanda receives a call from her soulmate Patrick Truman, who is on vacation, as a pleasant surprise from Denzel, after Pastor Gideon Clayton gives her some counsel. Later, Yolanda makes apologies with Agatha and is excited to pursue the idea of a food truck. However, she gets another shock when Pastor Clayton gives her an excessively huggable embrace. After the incident, Yolanda is shocked and attempts to go on with her life. However, 1 week later, during a meeting, Pastor Clayton touches her leg. Pastor Clayton tries to make Yolanda feel bad when she confronts him about his behavior, so he calls off the food truck event. Later, after a tearful conversation, Yolanda is determined to follow through on her intentions with Denzel. But as the week comes to an end, Yolanda suffers more harm when Pastor Clayton gives his wife Stella the project. Yolanda retorts that Pastor Clayton is attempting to punish her for speaking out against him, but he flips the accusation, saying that she is the one who is uneasy. Has Yolanda finally come to terms with the existence of a new antagonist in Albert Square? 6. Rice Caldwell and Sonia Fowler carry on with their IVF quest. In the Queen Vic bar, Sonia Fowler enthusiastically talks about her IVF experience with her niece Whitney Dean as the week gets underway. But as the week progresses and Sonia and her partner Rice Caldwell arrive for their embryo implantation appointment, the doctor gives her a disheartening discovery. Is it possible for Sonia to handle further disappointment? 7. Gloria Knight appears at the Victoria this week. Spoilers show that Gloria Knight, George Knight's estranged adopted mother, is once again spotted walking into the Queen Vic and striking up a conversation with her son's ex-wife, Cindy. Gloria will soon be reunited with her cherished son, but will he be open to hearing from her now that he knows Gloria covered up her husband Eddie Knight's murder of George's birth father? Sonar finds cars at the bottom of the river where the ship collided that caused the Francis Scott Key Bridge to collapse in Baltimore. Cars have been found at the bottom of the Patapsco River in Baltimore, where a cargo ship collided and caused a 1.6-mile bridge to collapse into pieces. The sailboat is seen on camera crashing into Baltimore, Maryland's Francis Scott Key Bridge during the night. Firefighters are fighting the night and using sonar technology to find the number of cars that may have fallen into the sea following the collision. As part of the search and rescue effort, 2 individuals were saved in the interim, but at least 7 more are still in the river. While the other patient was severely hurt and is receiving hospital treatment right now, the first patient declined medical assistance. Up to 20 persons are reportedly thought to be missing following the incident, according to earlier reports. James Wallace, the chief of Baltimore's fire department, said that when the first unit arrived on the site at 1:50 a.m., they discovered the Key Bridge had completely collapsed. There were reportedly many people on the bridge when it collapsed. Information is subject to change as we get more intel, Mr. Wallace continued. Maryland has been placed under a state of emergency, and the White House is working quickly to send out rescue teams to help. Rescue operations were in progress, according to Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski Jr. and Mayor Brandon M. Scott. Services were on site. At least 7 persons were thought to be in the icy water, and they were looking for them. The Patapsco River and the outer Baltimore Harbor are crossed by the main span of the steel arch-shaped structure. A marine data platform called Marine Traffic revealed that the Singapore flag dolly had halted right under the bridge. At 1 in the morning, the ship sailed from Baltimore to a port in Colombo, Sri Lanka, a 27-day journey. Just before the ship collides with one of the bridge pillars, smoke is observed coming from it. This points to a potential mechanical issue on board the dolly, albeit the exact cause is unknown. Before the disaster, there were reportedly several instances of the lights going off and then back on. All crew members have been reported safe, and no injuries have been reported, according to a statement from manager Synergy Marine Group. The alarm went off at roughly 1:30 in the morning, according to Kevin Cartwright, the Baltimore Fire Department's Director of Communications. Rescuing and recovering these people is our current focus, he stated. Although the exact number of casualties is still unknown, Cartwright described the fall as a developing mass casualty event. He continued by saying that it looks like some cargo or retainers hanging from the bridge, which is causing unstable and dangerous situations. As a result, emergency responders are acting cautiously. He declared, "This is a dire emergency." After the collapse, metro.co.uk was unable to quickly confirm the number of persons who are still stuck under the water. Officials are looking into any power outages that occurred aboard the cargo ship Dolly before to it colliding with Key Bridge. The most likely reason of the accident, according to David McFarlane, Director of Maritime Risk and Safety Consultants Limited, was a mechanical malfunction in the ship. This was stated to Sky News. Pete Buttigieg, the U.S. Transportation Secretary, tweeted that he has extended support to the Governor of Maryland and the Mayor of Baltimore. Rescue efforts are still ongoing, and motorists in the Baltimore area should heed local responder advice regarding detours and response, he continued. Please subscribe our channel.